Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. If you're feeling charitable, please smash the subscribe button and the like button, and please do follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Wow, it's a shocker. By the way, Zack Snyder's doing a watch party this Wednesday, 8 a.m, standard local time, wherever he's from, and I think he'll be on video over on Vero. I suspected what eventually happened on the internet, which was, this sounds very, very interesting, and could this be the announcement for the Snyder Cut we've been waiting for nearly 2.5 years? Well, multiple media sources are claiming that during his Man of Steel watch party, 8 a.m. standard local time, wherever he's from, as I said, he will announce that the Snyder Cut will be on HBO Max. Now, I'm excited. I'm a bit confused. I'm very emotional, but I want you to understand something. We've been at this. You know, the release of the Snyder Cut family have been at this for 2.5 years, so we have to be a bit more intelligent than we've been in the past. There's been moments like this before. We've heard rumours before. I know the media haven't been behind us like this before, but we've got to be really, really careful. We still don't know if this is officially going to happen. Until Warner Brothers confirm it, until Zack himself confirms it, you've got to take it like this is not happening. The noises are positive. It's very exciting. I'm only saying it for my own good, my peace of mind, and your peace of mind. I don't want anyone's heart to be broken yet again in this long fight. But it is looking very realistic that on Wednesday, Zack Snyder, during his Man of Steel watch party, will announce the release of the Snyder Cut. HBO Max, I don't know. HBO Max will not be able to stream it internationally. It would be outrageous if international audiences couldn't see it, but of course they'll sort something out, because obviously it could be on Netflix for international audiences or whatever. We don't really know. There's also the rumour of it being chapterised. Again, I will watch the Snyder Cut in any form. I would prefer just to sit there and watch a movie, but if Zack needs to do certain work with certain portions of the film and maybe seeing a couple of chapters first that have been finished, then I'm all right with that. And eventually we'll get it on Blu-ray, and eventually Warner Brothers will want to make as much money as possible and release it as a full-length movie. Whatever. I don't think that's going to happen, but whatever. But let's just sit back, relax, and just look back to how this all started for us. Now, I've told you the story before. I was sitting in the cinema watching the theatrical cut of Justice League, and slowly, my heart began to melt. Now, it's interesting, a lot of people don't like the opening with Superman and the car keys thing, but you know what? In my first viewing, I didn't notice what they did to his lip, right, his jaw. I didn't. And I was kind of emotional. I thought, this is good, seeing Superman before he was killed, talking to these children. How beautiful is that? So the sentiment was good there. And I like the Batman scene that Whedon shot as well. It was okay. Not the best thing ever, but it was okay. They tried to be funny with the villain, the robber he stopped. It wasn't the best thing ever, but it looked good at least. And then as we get into the film, and I like the stuff with Cyborg and his father. I thought that was kind of good as well. But as we get into the crux of the film, we start to realise something. That this isn't Zack Snyder's movie. This isn't the continuation of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. We already know there's a big problem. And I'll tell you the story that I've told you a billion times before. I come out that cinema, that movie theatre, as you Americans call it, right? Get into the cab, and I feel I've probably never been that depressed before. I probably have, but not far away from being that depressed before. And the cab driver, who's also a friend of mine, turned to me and said, "Did you enjoy the film?" I looked at him, lied, and I said yes. As I said yes, my heart sank. So I was planning on doing a little review on the Instagram account I had then. That account I don't have anymore. I have another account now. But I did about 20 videos, because you can only do like 1 minute videos at a time, can't you? And I remember being so emotionally drained, and I was totally honest. I didn't like it. I didn't like the film. I was underwhelmed by it. And I didn't really know how to feel what was going on. So basically, after the heartbreak of it, it's only when I started seeing noises from other fans saying they didn't like it. This wasn't Zack Snyder's film. And as you know, I watch Chris Wong Svensson's Ping Pong Flicks every time he does a video. Now, most people discovered Chris after Justice League, but I discovered Chris on YouTube when he was doing like commentaries on Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. So I knew he was a fan, but I knew he wasn't just a fan of Zack. He loves DC, which is great. And it was like we were building up to it together, even though we weren't literally building up to it together. He was getting excited for Justice League. And we were all pumped. The whole community were pumped. And we were heartbroken. We were betrayed. Zack was betrayed. We were betrayed. And all of a sudden, I started hearing about Fiona Zhang talking about that there was a cut of Zack's film. And, what we saw wasn't Zack's film. And the music was done. The effects were done. It was ready to go. Now, I'll be honest with you. Even though I was like, yes, we've got to see this film. I was fighting for it just like you guys and girls. But I wasn't sure if I believed Fiona, because she was just a random person. Why should I? I wanted to believe there was a finished cut. I wasn't going around saying, liar, liar, pants is on fire. I backed her. I retweeted her. I was pushing her message, don't get me wrong. And I apologise to you, Fiona, for not believing you because you were spot on. Because I think when we first started this, we came across to the media and all the other movie fans as cultists. Right, a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists wanting a film we can never see, wanting a film that doesn't exist. But I knew this film existed anyway. I didn't know if it was finished, but I knew even if the film wasn't finished and it was just in bits and pieces, we saw it. We saw Zack wrapping up in London, thanking everyone in London for their cooperation. We knew that Zack had wrapped the picture, right? So if he wrapped the picture, every sequence he wanted was filmed. Now, we know there's certain bits he didn't get to do. We know that now. Now, we don't know what's on the cutting room floor. We don't know if Batman dying was ever filmed. I don't think it was. He might have to go back and do that. These are the kind of questions that are going to have to be answered on Wednesday or sometime in the future before the film's actually streamed or released in theatres or whatever. But we knew mostly this film was shot, right? So all Warner Brothers ever had to do in the past 2.5 years is say, go on, Zack, you shot everything, put it together and show us your vision, right? And so I always knew there was, so when people were kind of debating, there is a Snyder Cut, there isn't a Snyder Cut, to me that wasn't the debate. My point was always, he shot all the scenes. It's there. All he has to do is edit it together. Music, VFX, blah, blah, blah. Even if it's not completed, he has the movie to put together. So I never really got involved with it. Does it exist? It doesn't matter to me. He shot the movie. All he has to do is put it together, which is nothing to someone like Zack, right? And so there was never a kind of a debate for me. So we went along, and then of course we had the whole Wall Street Journal thing, and I think that did kill the movement for several months. And then Zack armed us back up again. He kept on posting pictures, revelation after revelation after revelation. We took knocks, then we rose up. I think there was a lot of ups and downs during the time of us fighting for this. But I think November the 17th is the reason. If it's going to happen, November the 17th of last year is the reason we're getting this. That changed everything. But I think the moment when I saw Subway supporting our movement, I thought Warner Brothers are not going to survive this. There's no way they can, everyone's coming to our side, big companies. I see verified accounts all the time. I get verified accounts saying, I see your videos, Mick, I want to fight for this as well. What can I do? And it's just great. And I see a lot of verified accounts retweeting and supporting the movement. Not everyone likes Zack Snyder, but even the people who were against Zack after BVS are now with Zack because they've seen his struggle and they know his vision deserves to be seen. And they know that his film is certainly good in whatever way he does it, tone, whatever, too dark, too light, whatever, it's going to be better than the film poor Joss Whedon was pressured and rushed into making. Let's be clear here. The state of that film, that wasn't a film to be released by a mainstream, massive, Fortune 500 company. That film wasn't in a condition to be released. But Sujihara wanted a 2-hour movie, November the 17th, 2017, whatever condition it was in. He didn't care. Ultimately, it cost him his job. They wrapped it up in something else, but he lost his job because of the decisions he made with Justice League and Suicide Squad. What happened to Zack Snyder and David Ayer was disgusting, even in Hollywood standards. And we know they treat people like commodities. We know they use and abuse people. We know that. And we pay for them to do that, unfortunately, right? But something happened with Zack Snyder. Something was different with this film, this situation, because Zack. It's because of Zack. If it wasn't for Zack, we wouldn't have started a movement. It was him. I do believe that he was friends with Fiona. I don't know if that's a fact already. I think he got Fiona to do his talking for him for a very long time, and it worked. And I think once he realised that wasn't working anymore, he went on to Vero, posting the pictures, not blatantly telling us to keep on fighting, but encoded messages. He was telling us to keep fighting. How Zack Snyder manipulated this whole situation is the most malevolent. I can't even say the word, can I? Malevolent. Forget it. I can't say the bloody word. Basically, it's the biggest bad boy gangster thing that's ever been done to Hollywood. He had the intellect, and the journalists who tried to break him, the scoopers, the bloggers. Humberto Gonzalez is a great example where he was telling us, it's a pipe dream. Move on. But we didn't move on. We kept on fighting, thanks to Zack motivating us. And we became a unit. Now, we've had many, many fights with each other. I've blocked some people. You blocked me. We're passionate. If I do see on my block list I've blocked anyone from the community, I'll certainly unblock you. And I think now, maybe you can unblock me. You don't have to. I'm just saying maybe we can all be friends now. I don't want us to all lose touch now. If this is announced, I want us to remain to be friends, or remain to be mates, right? I want us to stay in communication. I want us to respond when we first see this film together. Maybe we can have a watch party via the internet as well. There's still a lot of conversations to have. I think it's going to be funny if this is announced, if we're still going to be hashtagging release the Snyder Cut. Now, as exciting as this all is, right? We have to calm down. It hasn't been announced yet, but it certainly sounds like something's going to happen. And don't forget, we always said we'd stop fighting when Zack told us to. Now, we have to talk about this, the potential of him on Wednesday maybe saying, you know what, it's not going to happen. Look, we've tried our best. We made our point. We need to move on. If he says that, I respect that. I don't expect him to say that, but you don't know. We've had so many false dawns. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to think of the worst situation, hoping it doesn't happen, so the best thing happens. But it does sound like, from all the noises we're getting from Hollywood and from all media outlets, that this thing is definitely going to happen. And I can't help but just look back and think about what we've been through, the friendships, the connections we've made. I've certainly made some great connections via the dceu Daily and Big Mouth. Twitter has been a great place to converse. Great people like Subversive Reviews. Is it Subversive Reviews? I think that's him. Great guy. Very excitable guy. I love that guy, by the way. He's always very positive. He's not a negative person. You never see him arguing with people. He's a really cool dude as well. He's a bit like Chris Wong Svensson. Very cool, very together. It's because of people like that we are where we are. Because we can't all just argue and have, free-for-alls. I'm just wondering what it's like to be Andy, Sigmore or whatever his name is from Fandom Wire right now. And it's really funny. He's blocked me, but some people have sent me some screenshots. He's actually telling his followers that it's going to happen now. Now, not 2 weeks ago, he said Warner Brothers hated Zack Snyder and it was never going to happen. A lie. Of course it was. It was a lie. This is what happens in life, Andy, when you don't research your subject matter. You wanted a lot of attention. You stoked the fires. It's what you wanted, but you just ended up blatantly blocking half of your followers. It's not good business, mate. You're not too smart, and nobody believes you've got the scoop on anything. But Humberto Gonzalez has said on Twitter, now we know that he told us we had this pipe dream, but in the past couple of weeks, he has had the scoops that seem to be true. So if he's right about this, he's right about the Superman movie being in development as well, which is good news as well. Who's doing it? Who's going to play Superman? We still don't know. So it seems like follow Humberto Gonzalez in Heroic Hollywood for everything, DC, no matter how you feel about him. Don't let your personal feelings get in the way of that. It's just massive. When this is announced, right, emergency video, snapping the Justice League in two, as I've always promised. Oh yes, I've got my bonds cut. Basically, because it's lockdown, no one can come here to cut my hair. So I've had to do it myself because my father's disabled. I'm his carer and I can't leave. So so I just got my clippers and I shaved it off. What do you think? Do you think it looks good? So yeah, I'm happy I've got that done. But wow, this is unprecedented. And then I think to what this movie could be: Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, General Swanwick, the death of Lois Lane. If he goes off and shoots that, there is so much potential. We don't really know exactly what we're going to get. He's teased us, but he hasn't leaked stuff enough to say that we know exactly what's going to happen. We do and we don't. So this is just unprecedented. As I say, this is the greatest story ever told in Hollywood. Now, I know Sean O'Connell's doing this book, and I've given my opinion on that. But I would absolutely love to see a documentary on this, or someone playing Zack Snyder, or Zack Snyder making the documentary about how the Snyder Cut happened. Now, if we get this, is the Snyder Cut the end of the story? First of all, there could be a double announcement tomorrow. Who knows? We could get the announcement that the Ayer Cut will be released as well, because it's very, very interesting, because a blogger was saying it's important that fans don't start abusing bloggers who are against the Snyder Cut, blah, 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 and being classy, which I agree with. And David there quote tweeted and said, yeah, be classy, be polite. Maybe we're getting a double announcement. That would be greedy. The Snyder Cut's enough for now, but I won't stop fighting for the Ayer Cut. We deserve to see that. Now, I forgot exactly what David Ayer did leak some stuff, because apparently Harley ends up with that guy who can do the fire out of his hands. I forgot his name from Suicide Squad. Apparently, that was the original cut of Suicide Squad, and then it was reshot and it was changed. Now, I did ask him, did you do the reshoots that changed that, or did the studio? He didn't reply. Maybe he can't say that, and I can understand why he can't say that. Wow. It's look, I'm really lost for words. Of course, it's amazing to see the whole movement so excited, so pumped of the potential chance that on Wednesday Zack's going to announce this. I always believed that Zack wanted to announce this. He's really earned this situation. Look, I'm gonna say it the way it is for me. For me, Zack Snyder is the George Lucas and Steven Spielberg of the modern day. We don't have very many talented directors with great imagination and a great visual quality like Zack. And George and Steven Spielberg were those directors, especially George Lucas, with what he achieved on Star Wars, and who could also tell a great story. That's like Zack. Great visuals, compelling visuals, and compelling storytelling. That's what Zack Snyder is. And somehow we've wasted 2.5 years when we could have already seen Justice League 2 and we could have been pumped for Justice League 3. Ultimately, Justice League is Empire Strikes Back, Part 2. Man of Steel is A New Hope. That's Superman. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is The Empire Strikes Back. Justice League is Empire Strikes Back Part 2. And basically, it goes on, doesn't it? I suppose Justice League 2 is Empire Part 3, and then Return of the Jedi would be Justice League Part 3. But that's the thing here. How far are we going to go down this rabbit hole, as Zack warned us about a year ago, right? Is this about just seeing the Ayer Cut and the Snyder Cut? Or have they done a complete deal for Zack to come back? I'm not holding much hope for that. But who knows, right? Who knows? But one thing's for sure. They know there's a love for Zack Snyder. There's a love for these films. They know they would have made a good profit from his Justice League if they never did with what they did with Whedon. They lost money. It's not really their fault they panicked. It was the reaction that really forced them into making this decision. I wouldn't have made that decision. I would have said to Zack, do Justice League, then off you go and we'll create something new. If they didn't have faith in him, because he was in the middle of doing it, he pretty much completed doing the film. It was dumb, right? But anyway, we've been there, right? That's in the past. What I want from you, the Snyder movement, is to be calm. I know it's difficult. Be polite to people. Don't go hunting for people who have abused us in the past. Don't be toxic. They're accusing us of being toxic. And now it makes sense, right? The key clue that this is actually going to happen was what happened with the Harley Quinn animated series with the release of the Snyder Cut Toxic Fan, right? That was like Warner Brothers saying, you're a bunch of toxic fans, but we're going to give you your own way. We hate giving you your own way. The consumer has all the power. The consumer is the elite. We can make or break actors and directors and industry and studios and networks. We pay you the ludicrous sums of money that puts you in limousines and the best dresses that get displayed on E Live and E Entertainment, right? We are your bosses, right? You know, you are our bitches. It's as simple as that. We pay. When I go into a shop and I buy something, I get what I want. So when I pay you a ludicrous amount of money, I expect to get what I want. Now, I understand that the audience can't get everything they demand. I understand that. I'm not being irrational here. But at the end of the day, Justice League, the reason we all sat in the cinema was for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Even the people who don't like him, that's what they went to see. And we didn't see that. It was a major betrayal, especially after what the man suffered by losing his daughter. And, you know, him and Deb have been so classy, as I said before. This is for us. This is for Zack. This is for everyone. I think there's very few people that care about how their film looks and if it's going to actually be a good film. George Lucas was like that. George Lucas was a perfectionist, right? He cared. He cared. Zack Snyder cares. James Gunn cares. There's very few filmmakers that are perfectionists, that care about the art and not the fame and the fanfare. We see that in the quality of the modern day movie, right? So we got this modern day George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, and I think we need to look after him. And Warner Brothers have got a great opportunity here. You have got the modern day George Lucas, right? And that's something incredibly special. And that's something we should never let go of. You got him. He could be working with J.J. Abrams now, with Bad Robot. You could have two of the greatest, creative artists in the movie industry and entertainment right now. Don't waste that. So, as we wrap up today, we're basically going to recap the main headline, which you already know, but I'm going to say because it gives me a thrill to say it. This Wednesday, 8 a.m. standard local time from wherever Zack Snyder's from, he's having a Man of Steel watch party, which is a big event in itself. He's asking us to ask him some questions now via Twitter and Vero so he can reply to them after we finish watching the film. So that would kind of say that that's when the announcement, if there's an announcement made, is during those questions. So look, it's an unprecedented event. So yeah, main headlines, Man of Steel watch party, 8 a.m. standard, local standard time, right? And the rumours are from the media and all sources is that he's going to announce the release of the Snyder Cut, an event we've been dreaming about. The Christmas of all Christmases, the most exciting event a geek and a nerd can have. This is for every geek, for every nerd who hasn't got a voice, who hasn't got the confidence to have a Twitter account or a YouTube account, who are the silent majority who are intimidated by elites in Hollywood and maybe people like us who are overconfident and speak too much for our own good. This is for you. This is for you. This is for the people who watched the Star Wars sequel trilogy and were told by the elites at Disney and Lucasfilm, you don't get a right. You're an entitled fan. Keep your mouth shut. This is for those people. This is a moment we stood up. It wasn't about winning and losing. It's about the customer getting what they paid for, right? That's what it's all about. The customer is right. We are keeping these industries afloat, and they need to start remembering that. And for the first time in history, a group of people have shown something so powerful, resolve like nothing I've ever seen before. I'm proud to be part of it. I'm proud that I was part of it from the very beginning. And I certainly didn't start it, and I wasn't I didn't initiate anything. But I tell you what, once we saw the film, moments like this, we didn't see that moment, did we? I mean, what a beautiful scene this is, between Clark and Lois. Despicable we didn't see it. Oh, and Henry Cavill still hasn't tweeted release the Snyder Cut or said it on his Instagram. Very interesting what happens with Henry as well. It's clear to me there's going to have to be some reshoots and stuff. Unless, I don't know. I don't know how all this is going to play out. All I know is there's a potential for Zack to come back if they believe they can make it work through another division within DC and Warner Brothers and HBO Max. I don't know what's going to happen. But if this is announced, this is the first step. This is incredibly exciting. I kind of feeling that I forgot to say something, that there's something, this is such a big occasion for me and for you. I wanted to make today's video really, really special, but I'm so excited and so emotional, I can't think. Please comment down below in your droves. Like, share and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow when we'll be building up to this massive watch party Man of Steel event and wondering and in intrigue and suspicion as well what Zack's actually going to say. Is it going to happen? If you think about it too hard, you talk yourself out of it, that it's actually going to happen, right? But then you kind of think, no, it's going to happen. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But Humberto Gonzalez, as I said earlier, and I can't remember if I finished the sentence because of my excitement. So if I didn't, did say, Emma J with black glasses on, you need to be watching this. So something's going to happen. It's a big day. We've been fighting for this for 2.5 years. And I tell you what, we're getting very close to the finish line. Anything can happen tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm going to be there with you. Now, I'm hoping Vero can handle Zack's live stream when he's doing the Man of Steel watch party. Now, if I can't get on there, you can find me on Twitter, @MoviesTVMan. I will be tweeting Man of Steel and watching it at the same time if I can't see what Zack's doing. Hopefully some kind person diverts it to YouTube like they did last time, so some of us who couldn't peg onto it, because Vero had a lot of problems last time. Crossing my fingers that didn't happen, but hey, you can't bargain with technology, can you? But I'm very excited. This is a massive moment for all of us. Like, share and subscribe, comment down below. Back tomorrow to continue it. Could the Holy Grail finally have been uncovered? See you again soon.